This video is purely about cinematography. None of my analysis on the members' coding are a reflection of the actual members of Aespa themselves, nor is this video a review of Aespa as a group sonically. If you haven't already noticed, this essay is heavily inspired off of Mira's cinematography analysis videos on YouTube. You should definitely check her out on your own time. Aespa is a group who have pioneered a lot of the trends in the current scape of 4th generation K-pop. AI group concepts, hyperpop tracks in K-pop, lore-heavy group concepts, and dual song compositions may have not all originated with Aespa, but their surge in popularity can all, for the most part, be traced back to Aespa. Trust me, as a LOONA and KDA fan, I know all too well that Aespa didn't invent these concepts, but there is undeniably a connection between these ideas and concepts becoming popular in the 4th generation of K-pop and Aespa doing them. Aespa has managed to wrap all of this up with some of the most striking and visually interesting music videos in all of K-pop. Just a few frames alone of any Aespa music video is instantly recognizable. The galactic hodgepodge of colors and gradients, the otherworldly set pieces and scenes, the modern visual aesthetics, and the heavy inspiration of sci-fi genres as a means of visual storytelling has given Aespa a very unique sense of aesthetic and warmth laced throughout their music videos. We travel through techno forest, spacecrafts, portals, fairy dreamlands, cybernetic cities, and secret evil villain layers. While some K-pop groups ground themselves in reality in an attempt to cash onto relatability, Aespa completely breaks away from reality to truly offer a visual storytelling experience. The only other group who has given me this much lore conveyed through visuals to bite into has been LOONA. And just like LOONA, Aespa doesn't just have visually interesting scenes for fodder. Their music videos in combination with their lyrics aid in telling a wider narrative and developing each member as her very own individual character. Each member has their own unique role, personality, color palette, and set pieces. Each scene either pushes the wider narrative behind Aespa's lore forward, or serves as a reference surrounding the lore of Aespa's external materials. Instead of focusing on Aespa's cinematography as its own being, I will mainly be analyzing how each member of Aespa's coding, personality, and character is reflected through their music videos. There will then be a brief section analyzing how the group as a whole fits into Aespa's cinematography. As the de facto it girl of Aespa, I feel like Karina is a good place to start with when analyzing how each member shapes the group's cinematography, as she's very distinct and consistently stays true to her coding. Karina is bratty and in your face, a heroine who won't back down in the face of danger. Karina is an initiator. We see her taking the lead as the opener for a lot of Aespa's music videos, facing the camera and the composition head on. Karina is always jumping into the fray, and she's always the first person to throw a punch. Every time there's combat in an Aespa music video, Karina acts as the driving force. She punches the screen in Black Mamba and Savage. We see shots of her charging her fists, and in the girls' music video, Karina is the one fighting the Black Mamba's lackeys. To reflect this, the angles Karina is shot in reminds of a comic lead who's ready to spring into action. Whether it's her straps and fingerless gloves from Girls, her gauntlet in Savage, or her pulled up pigtails reminiscent of a Harley Quinn feature in Spicy, Karina is always apt to engage. Karina's styling takes on themes of a rebel, as she constantly acts as a counter for the world she is in. Amongst the galactic array of colors Kwangya has to offer, Karina is a beacon with a dark aura. Her hair drenched in tints of blues, purples, and burgundies, enveloped by stark blacks. She's shown wearing high-waisted short shorts that make her legs look longer, giving her a much more powerful frame, and crop tops that, in conjunction, accentuate the length of her torso. In the dull monotony of the real world, Karina is a fierce pillar of light, sporting blondes, pinks, and shades of white. No matter where Karina is, she's constantly interrupting the flow and stealing your attention. Karina is always just as aware of the camera as the camera is aware of her. The camera always seems to linger onto her, just a bit longer than it probably should, and her verses are rarely interrupted with countering shots of the other members. Once Karina has your attention, she's the only thing you can look at, and the camera work of Aespa's music videos quite literally reflects that. With her brash and boldness wrapped up in a sleek bow, Karina is the perfect driving force in Aespa's mission to defeat the Black Mamba. Giselle acts as a mirror to Karina. Whilst Karina is bold and in your face, Giselle is calm and effortlessly cool. As Karina struggles to fit into the real world, Giselle makes the real world her home. She's that cool and approachable girl who sits next to you in the front of your art class. She's the mature and collected girl next door who makes herself available to anyone in need. She's that kind and pretty girl everyone wanted to be friends with in high school. I think Black Mamba was a very experimental era for SM and Giselle. She stuck out with her blonde hair and close angle shots, and whilst this type of cinematography really amplified Karina's talents, it just made Giselle look awkward. I think by the time Next Level rolled around, Aespa's creative directors realized that Giselle has nothing to overcompensate for. Post Black Mamba Giselle isn't concerned with being a badass or proving herself, and the way she carries herself in her solo shots reflects that perfectly. She's laid back, her gaze as she's talk rapping is confident and cool, her movements are swift, and her composition is charismatic. Next Level through Spicy's Giselle is such a stark difference from her coding during Aespa's debut era, and it was definitely a much needed shift. Giselle's natural and real charm is what makes her stand out from the crowd. She doesn't need bold colors and cinematography to make her presence known. Reflecting this, Giselle has the most muted color palette out of the entire group, donning drowned out shades of brown, blue, and gray with minimal accent shades. Though out of all the members, Giselle's styling is probably the least experimental and the most relatable and trendy. She sports repurposed band tees, chains, short shorts, and knee-high boots, paired up with heavy eyeshadows and distinct eyeliners. Giselle adds a much-needed sense of relatability and realness to Aespa's teen market, and her place in Aespa is clear. Quinto is the member of duality. She's calm and effortless like Giselle, but without any of Giselle's relatability or approachableness. She's bold and striking like Karina, but without any of Karina's cheeky playfulness. Quinto is a calculated assassin. Whilst we get shots of Karina in combat head-on, we get shots of Quinto sniping from the backlines as seen in Savage, and swiftly taking things out with her katana and grills. Quinto is the most contrasting member in the group. Her palette ranges from shades of snow whites and fado noirs to shades of honey, pinks, and bright blue hues. I find Quinto almost difficult to analyze due to how stark the duality of her styling and coloring is. When Quinto has her hair at a neck's length with a fringe covering her eyebrows and sharp angular clothing, everything draws you to her piercing gaze and dead expression. Quinto looks serious, cutthroat, and cold, almost even annoyed at times. But when Quinto has light-colored long hair and heavy eye makeup that highlights her aegosal and blush, she looks pretty and untouchable. I find the only common element Quinto holds in Aespa cinematography is that she always looks like she's on the next level. Pun intended. Quinto always reads as unapproachable and in a league of her own, almost akin to Queen Bee archetypes like Regina George or Heather Chandler, except Quinto is never portrayed as rude, cocky, or egotistical like these stereotypical mean girl characters usually are. And that's because she isn't. Just because Quinto isn't always warm or inviting, just because she isn't constantly preppy and smiling, doesn't mean she's a cold-hearted bitch. I find when male members in boy groups are coded in the exact same way, they're seen as cool and sexy. But when female girl group members are portrayed in this exact same way, they're seen as rude and abhorrent, and fans feel the need to take them down a peg. It's just a really hypocritical and annoying mentality that I'm tired of seeing fans have, so I really appreciate that Winter acts as almost a counter to that in some sort of way. Overall, SM basically treats Winter as like a customizable Barbie doll, and that's not to say she doesn't have any distinct style or substance. Winter actually has some of my favorite costuming from era to era. Winter is just very diverse and just has a knack for switching things up every era. No one Winter era feels the same, and I really appreciate that about her. If Karina and Winter represent Kwangya in the digital world, Giselle and NingNing represent the real world. But as Giselle's other half, NingNing takes a vastly different approach. NingNing never misses a chance to have fun with her scenes and set pieces. She isn't relegated to being the badass member, or the cool member, or the pretty member. And this gives her a lot of opportunity to just have the most fun scenes and shots in some of Aespa's music videos. Sometimes she gets to be a playful hacker jesting in the backlines. Sometimes she gets to be a sassy diva absolutely toying with the camera. And sometimes she's literally just singing on top of a fiery volcano like there's no tomorrow. NingNing mixes high-end fashion with experimentalism. We see her in shoulder pads, strapless dresses and leather shorts, plaid spiky armor and fishnet gloves, bold lips and fiery eyeshadows. We see her in greens, whites, reds, browns, and basically any color under the rainbow. If Winter is SM's Barbie, NingNing is SM's Monster High doll. And yes, while NingNing is stereotypically pretty, dresses well, and wears bold makeup, things seen as inherently negative just because it's been used to demean women for being one-dimensional or basic, that doesn't mean NingNing herself is one-dimensional. On the contrary, she's multifaceted, she's smart. NingNing is a girl's girl, who's goofy and has a sense of humor. She's confident and she's self-assured, and nothing can take away from that. She's free to do whatever she wants, and that's what I love most about NingNing and Aespa's universe. So how does Aespa as a whole fit into this? I find that Black Mamba, Next Level, and Savage are just this golden era of consistency for Aespa's concept. When you think of Aespa and what made you fall in love with them, the answer probably lies in at least one of these 3 music videos. Black Mamba does a really good job at setting the stage for Aespa and their video concepts. The set, color grading, and composition for literally every scene is just amazing. I mean, just pause the video at literally any frame and you're just hit with this gorgeous assortment of glittery colors, makeup, and sets. We get to see parallels of the real world and the digital world in this music video. Karina in the subway station, NingNing in her bedroom, Winter in front of the school lockers, versus Giselle silhouetted in the crimson red gradient shots, the members dancing in the Kwangya-fied version of the subway station, and Winter looking at her eye version in the mirror. This kind of visual mirroring does a really good job at showing that Aespa is entering another world. I also just love how that the Korean word for Kwangya quite literally just means wilderness or forest, and then in the chorus scenes of Black Mamba, we see the girls dancing in front of this high techno sci-fi forest backdrop to signify that that's what they're in. It's attention to detail like that that just makes Aespa's music videos so awesome. Next Level plays on a lot of the same concepts as Black Mamba and pushes the sci-fi element even harder. We get scenes that look like they're on some kind of spacecraft, scenes that look like they're on an alien world, and then for the tempo switch up, we get these high-end scenes featuring a galactic cityscape, with NingNing towering over the world. Savage is a bit difficult to describe because the entire music video just feels like a fever dream. I mean, I don't know what I'm looking at most of the time, but all I know is that it's awesome. The music video plays up on the concept of all the members being isolated. Karina is facing her I self, Giselle is surrounded by multiple versions of her normal self, Winter is being Winter, and NingNing is being bullied by a bunch of emojis. Then for the bridge, all the members come together and we just get one of those beautiful segments in a music video ever. The entire scene is so gorgeous with purples everywhere and cherry blossom petals falling over the screen, and then we get an animated feature. It's just amazing. That entire era is just like still so iconic to this day too. I mean, you still have so many people quoting it or talking about it, from "Oh my god, don't you know I'm a savage" to the "t-t-t-t" in the chorus. Even the bridge is renowned as one of the best bridges ever. Can it top So What or Zinzala Beam? I don't know about that one, but it's definitely up there. I find that by the time Girls rolls around, it just starts feeling random for Aespa. We trade out big otherworldly shots for shots of the girls on an elevator and fighting baddies in a museum. I don't even know what the backdrop is supposed to be, but you could literally give this music video to any other noisy experimental group and it wouldn't change a thing. I mean, I'm sure that's why there was so many critiques of the track at the time for sounding too NCT and just being another SM reject just handed to Aespa. It's just things like that that made it feel this way. I mean, don't get me wrong, I still love the Girls era. It was so fun and the song is genuinely amazing. I don't think all the hate it got was deserved, but I'd be lying if I said I didn't notice there was a shift in Aespa as a whole after this era. Spicy clearly strays away from Aespa's previous visual coding, but unlike Girls, it's for good reason. Instead of being in Kwangya, Aespa takes a breather to explore the real world and how the members interact in it. And I really appreciate that. Instead of the sets offering the otherworldly aspect of Aespa's music video, this time it's the members themselves who are the otherworldly aspect. The sets of Spicy are all fairly standard things you'd find in the real world. A school, a pool, a college party, a shopping strip. What makes this video stand out this time are, like I said, the members. They all give so much life and energy to every one of these scenes, and this is the most cohesive their styling has been for any of their comebacks. They really just look like a group taking on the world and making it their own this era. And with the last chorus shots of the girls standing in front of cars, literally stopping traffic, having a blast. Aespa can truly do anything they want and nothing can stop them. Okay, so this video was written a little bit before Better Things came out, so I'm just gonna quickly give my thoughts on that. I mean, there's not really much to say. I don't know if it's supposed to be a mainline Aespa comeback, but I don't think it's like as like much as Life's Too Short, which is like very one-off. It still seems to have some tie-ins. I think it's very pretty. I like the shots of the girls like in the water and the balloons and the flowers. It's just a very gorgeous music video throughout. There's not much to say about that, but yeah, good job SM. Please give us Kwangya back. I really want the eyes back, please. Okay, back to the video. Aespa's music videos are more than just visually stimulating spectacles to sell albums. They engage with and push the means of visual storytelling and representing lore in K-pop in a way not many other groups have been able to achieve. Whether they go back to their roots or stay on the path of straying away from what they've initially set up, I'm certain Aespa will continue to deliver some of the most striking and interesting cinematography in all of K-pop. With pretty much all of my thoughts wrapped up, I'd like to thank you if you made it this far into my wordy 6-page long video essay. I've spent way too much time on this, and it's been way too many months, and I'm way too big of a procrastinator, but I'm so happy it's finally finished, and it would mean a lot if you supported my channel or this video in any way.